Can you hear Space Lizard?
I'm on the Zoom, man. I'm not on your phone.
Space Lizard.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Where are you? Are you on your spaceship still?
Yeah, man. I just knocked into a satellite quickly, so I've got to fucking it's knocked out the service.
Oh, editing this together is going to be bollocks, isn't it? Bonjour, Space Lizard.
Bonjour.
The technology that you sold me from your race, the advanced technology, seems to be working, because I did have technical difficulties with the with my cine recorder.
Yeah, I mean, after last time, mate, I was debating whether to come back or not, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go back to your home planet, because we've always got plenty. Like Stranger Things.
Yes, mate.
You start. Come on, Space Lizard. What is from your alien perspective?
I fucking loved it, mate, to be honest with you. There's a few bits in there that I would change. I mean, our predictions we got totally fucking wrong, mate, to be fair. But the annoying thing is we did actually mention that song. We did actually mention Metallica and Master of Puppets. We mentioned it.
I don't know what it is about that song. I still maintain it's awesome.
Yeah, it was wicked.
And listen, I love it all. But somehow you kind of go from all the music in it, and I know Kate Bush isn't cheesy, but you kind of have all that kind of, I don't want to call it cheesy, just that pop, just that 80s kind of pop music.
Yeah.
90% of the time, they up the game with Kate Bush, I will say. A very niche kind of choice. Like, I can't imagine a music soundtrack designer going, oh, yeah, let's have a bit of Kate Bush. Nevertheless, with Metallica, I don't know how it suits the 80s. With all that said,
I see what you mean. I think
spoil it. It was what was it? 30 seconds we was all worried about. So
yeah, no, I mean overall, I fucking loved it. The first episode of Volume 2 set everything up very nicely. I liked the escape from where 11 was in that military base, and she goes for that helicopter. Yeah, very nicely done, mate. My only things I can say, and I've got 3 points. The only things, and it's the only 3 things, is I predicted that it would be Steve or Nancy that would die. And they even further went down that route with the Volume 2 of Season 4, with when Steve's talking about how he wants to grow up and how he wants these kids and how he wants all this stuff. They proper set it up like he was going to get it. And I think that in itself, of him saying that, and growing up, as it were, even though it's a dream and that's what he wants to achieve. Yeah. I think taken from where he has been in the past to that point now where he wants that stuff, I kind of feel like that completes his character arc. And it's also more of a devastating blow to lose him. I would have much rather, and it's going to be a bit controversial, if they killed off Steve than Eddie, because Eddie has got a nice little arc. He's the crazy metal guy that goes on the run, and even though he's quite brash and quite big, like in terms of his personality, as soon as it comes down to it, he even says, "I'm not a hero," and he redeems himself at the end. I feel like there was more to see from Eddie moving forwards, and Eddie would have been a good replacement for Steve. And I feel like we've seen Steve, and Steve's done. And I feel like it'd been more emotional and more devastating. It affects more people if it was Steve that went. Whereas Eddie's the easier option to go. And that's, even though I enjoyed it, even though I loved the episode, and I fucking love Stranger Things, that is the only thing. If I was to be put in that writer's room, as it were, and to go, right, what shall we do for the finale? Based off of everything that's come for the rest of the season, I would want to see more Eddie, and I think Steve's arc's rounded off.
Yeah.
I just think that would have flowed better and would have worked better. The other point was, which I absolutely loved, was the jock, that Jason guy, the jock that's been hunting Eddie down all season. The guy that likes to make a fucking speech, no matter what. No matter what, he's always there with a microphone trying to make a speech. I literally wanted to punch him every time he was on screen. I absolutely hated him. And the fact that Lucas got some good bloody digs in and knocked him out, and then he got cut in half when the upside down opened, the gateway to the upside down opened, he got cut in half. Absolutely love that. And my next point, Yuri fucking survived, mate. Yuri survived. That character, Kunchinka.
Yeah, but listen, and again, I enjoyed it all, but I think I've got a couple more controversial points, to be fair. Because I know you loved Yuri. That was the weakest bit for me. I know I mentioned it before.
Yeah, it was definitely the weakest bit.
Was the weakest bit, but they did bring it all back, and there wasn't anything weak. Like I said before, if I had to choose, that was the weakest thing. But there was a lack of impact for me in who did actually die, like Eddie, because we were owning him for one season, and I know it's a good few hours. When he did die, I can't help feeling that if it had been someone from the beginning,
like Steve,
that was he's gonna hurt, and just it weren't going to be. I don't think it's ever going to be 11 until they do the 5th series and say, right, that's it, and that's enough. It was characters just more or less introduced this series, and the most controversial thing I've got to say is that last episode was bloated beyond belief, more than Iron. That was. I mean,
it was.
Even if it was 2 episodes, it was far. It just went on and on, and it come back again. It was like a mini movie, and I know they've done that, but those first 7 episodes, it wasn't the point where I thought, But I got to admit, when you know you are watching the last episode, you can't not hit the requisite beats to get right, and it kept. For me, it just kept misfiring. It kept carrying on, and oh no, here we go. Oh no, now we're on that, and
it's like they've taken a leaf out of the Lord of the Rings: Return of the King ending. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King extended edition ending, and that just multiple endings. It just keeps going.
That's it. Yeah. And that was my big fear, was that the Duffer Brothers would get self-indulgent. This series, but what I will say. It only, for all of that said, I think that was self-indulgent, that last episode, and it was bloated. But I would rather see every single episode of that again than 99% of the crap that we've out in the past and all the rest of it. Like, that is just bold. It's bold. They got their balls on the line and they're saying, look at this.
And I think, before I said my standout character.
We really are picky with this.
Yeah, but
we really are picking at, like,
on a positive, the character that's also it's all positive. The character that also stood out for me, I know I like Yuri, but the character that also stood out for me was Max this season. Max, I think her arc this season with the old Cape, Max, the ginger one.
Oh yeah, the ginger, yeah.
Her arc and how it ended for her this season, like when she was in Vecna's house and she lifts up and her bones and her arms and her legs start going, her eyes start going, then she's like, I can't see, and then she ends up awesome. in the coma. Mate, I was like, no, you're actually gonna kill off. It's like, whoa, no, I don't want it to go. I don't want it to die. Like the way they managed to get that heart. Yeah, the way they managed to get the heart of that was amazing. And Lucas fighting that Jason prick as well.
Praised. There's a lot more to be praised in it, Joe, in the whole series, not just last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't listen to me for the music choice, I'm even going to forgive them for that. I'm even prepared. It's unusual for me. Forgiveness isn't my thing. but I'm even prepared. That's how much I've enjoyed it. And I'm joking, but that is still far further head and shoulders above anything else of that genre and of that type and of the modern age of episodic storytelling that we've seen. It really is.
Even the CGI was good.
It really, yeah. Who knew?
I know.
What's happened is the Duffer Brothers. They've been using the one decent CGI studio in Hollywood, and no one else has been allowed in. For them. Meanwhile, we've got I walked 500 miles, Doctor Strange. I would walk 500 miles on his little bridge at the beginning with Ms. Marvel or Chavez Marvel or Chav Marv, whatever she's fucking called. And they're doing their little walk, and it's like what is it? It's like real life with cartoons. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when real life in the 90s would walk.
Mate, to be fair, I think the key that they did this season and the most important thing they did was split everyone up. So that way no one gets lost. When they're telling one story, there's one thread going through. With that many characters, there's room for people to get lost. By splitting it up into 3 separate stories with the California stuff, almost like Mike, 11 and all that lot over here, the main group in Hawkins, then Hopper over here, it allowed each character to shine and not sort of have a bad arc.
And it takes some doing.
Oh, mate, to juggle them pieces to come together.
To keep you not make it dislodged. And
I would like to have seen Hopper come back a little bit earlier so he could join the final fight. It's almost like if they'd moved the Hopper storyline forward so it ends at the beginning of that final episode, so he gets back to Hawkins ready for the ending.
But again, we're nitpicking.
Nitpicking, yeah, real nitpicking. I loved it.
Swimsuit Illustrated and saying, "Oh, I've got a thing about big toes." It's like, "God, you're gorgeous, love. Fuck me, me and you are going to have a night out, but keep them toes covered up." Like, so, and I haven't seen yet. And I know it was only Friday, but on Earth, I mean, I don't know how you measure time out in space, but we call it Friday. And so that's only 3 days ago, 3 Earth days.
Yeah, we introduced Fridays, man.
But I haven't seen a lot of kickback or bad stuff yet.
No.
Looking for it, because I think like we've done, you can pick it apart, but you can do that with anything, really. I think.
Yeah, you can. And the big thing now is we know that there's a season 5, and the season 5 is the final season. My hope is when you've gone to a strong season like that, and for me that was a 9.8, even a 10 out of 10.
Oh, that's mate.
Yeah, how do you follow that, and how do you wrap up everything in a satisfying manner? I just hope it don't do a Game of Thrones, man. I really do. Or Lost, or all the other shows that have sucked in the final season. I hope it don't do that.
Well, I think they're introducing laws in Hollywood, aren't they? It's the GOT 8 law. The GOT 8 bill is going through the Senate in America.
Okay. How's that going?
For any TV program to be as bad as Game of Thrones Series 8.
Did you hear the rumor about Jon Snow spin-off?
Yeah.
What's that going to be? He's walking through the snow.
It isn't looking as bad as Rings of Power, is it? I don't know if you've seen the trailer.
Yeah, I have.
I've got to admit, it isn't looking as bad. At least it kind of feels and sounds like it could have been a prequel, right?
Yeah.
Without getting into the detail of it just yet. And at least it isn't Rings of Power, which it's just set its stall out early. With how
they're holding back quite a lot of details, aren't they?
They believe that this is so much better than those 3 books that have been the bestsellers for 60 years, 70 years, and better than they've got a worthy and everything wrong. And I'm sure there'll be countless videos on.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be parodies of it for years, isn't there?
Everyone's going to be on it.
Yeah, there's going to be parodies of it for years. It's literally like, right, we've got this property. I know you can do it good. Don't worry. We know you can do it good. What's going to be really funny is just to do it shit.
Oh, yeah, like Kenobi. I mean, it's a bold move. Imagine being in that boardroom with Bezos, and he just pushes these documents and that, and he goes, right, so at the end of the day, I've paid a few $100 million. Here we go, guys. And they just go, Jeff, wait a minute. This is what we're going to do, because I know you briefed us on it, but now the deal's done. Forget all that. We're going to get our way. And instead of going, or instead of like Dr. Evil who presses a button and they drop through the floor into and get eaten by sharks, he turns to his advisors and they'll go, yeah, it's all the rage. It's all the rage to just completely ignore what the rights you've bought, spent all that money on, and we just completely do it different.
Yeah. Yeah, ain't right. No, ain't right, man.
So getting back to the point, so Game of Thrones at least, but it does look a little bit.
I just think it's done now, man.
And we both know what they've done. It was only from the evidence of the trailer. And they place all of the main characters of this program are just going to be women, and I'm sure it's going to be gay. Just for the sake of it. The big battles are going to be the 2 women, but that's the best they can come up with.
Instead of telling a decent story. But the thing is, as well, is that I think the only thing that Game of Thrones fans want, and you've got 2 levels of Game of Thrones fans. You've got the casual viewer and you've got the ones that are obsessed with the books as well. All those people want is him to finish that last bloody book.
I'd like to know who the Game of Thrones fans are, because he's taking so long with that last book that. How long did you wait before you?
Do you think he panicked? Do you think he panics? Because he had some words into the final season, and he sort of gave him a brief of what happens at the end of it all. So now the way it's gone down that way, he's just thrown out his manuscript and gone, shit, I've got to come up with something better. And that's why it's taken so long.
I can't believe that. I can't believe he's written all those books and steered it that way. If anything, now we're on this topic, and I haven't thought about it, but now off the top of my head, if I was George Martin, I'd be thinking, fuck, I don't want to release my book now. I've finished it. You may have finished it, but would
what I'm saying is, if the book has the same ending, the book has the same ending,
it's straight after season 8, right? What do you reckon that's going to do to sales? Your agent would be on the phone saying, mate, as the last episode of Series 8 dropped, George Martin's agent was on the phone saying, Georgie boy, we can't release that book, mate, now. Not for a little while. Let the dust settle on this one, mate, because people are going to be angry about this.
But what I'm saying is, do you think he's rewrote it? Do you think he's had to rewrite it because the book had the same ending as the show? So he's gone, fuck, they absolutely hate like the end of the story. I need to come up with something different to try and get the fans back. And that's why he's taken so long.
Maybe.
Plus the distractions of everything else.
How many?
Yeah, I think it has.
Audience that was on episode 1, series 8, including ourselves, right? And you're struggling from episode 2, 3, 4, and it's been building up for all these years, and you're thinking, oh my God. And there is an element of it's never going to live up to the hype. But the disappointment at the end, I mean, it's almost universally.
Remember what I said to you about the 5 things that needed to change to make that season good?
Yeah,
remember I said that
all the time. So it's a bit so what? Space Lizard.
But even in that last episode, when he kills Daenerys and the dragon comes in, all of a sudden just does the fucking throne for no reason at all. Why don't they just move Jon Snow over a little bit so he's standing in front of the throne? So the dragon is going for him. He can't burn because he's a Targaryen, and the throne burns around him. Very symbolic. Bit more of a climax to it, and yeah, just works. Just works. All they have to do is move him to the right a little bit. That's literally all they have to do. Just move to the right, John. Whoever done the blocking that day proper missed the trick on that. Whoever did the blocking messed up a trick. But we've sort of veered off. Back to Stranger Things just quickly. Season 5. What do you think? What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to do the episodes this long again? Do you think it's going to be like little movies?
This should have been the last series. They're looking old. And I don't mean old as in me, old. Shut up. They're just going to maybe fast forward. Because one thing this series has proved is the Duffer Brothers have got a talent. And
yeah, and I think I think that's why they went down the horror route more.
But I just wish they would have wrapped it up here, killed most of them off, if not all of them, and just gone bang and done it. But there's tens and tens of millions. One thing I like about Mick Flanagan, not the comedian, one of our top guys that we've spoken about a lot.
Yeah.
That he goes from one story to the next. He gives us those 8 or 10 episodes, some of them plod, some of them self-indulgent. It's all him. But do you know what? Yes, give me that. Because you're just in it with him.
Yeah.
What he doesn't do is all right, he stretches it a bit too far. Maybe he needs that dough to do the next one. I don't know. And it's all about money. But I can't help feeling fifth series of Stranger Things I will look forward to, because I don't think there'll still be anything out at that level if they maintain the Series 4 level. But there is just that bit in me that thinks, get in, tell the story, and fuck off and tell another one.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
It's a bit like Paul McCartney at, what was the festival in the mud, Glastonbury, wheeling out this fucking old boy singing every fucking and Ivory. I don't know what he sung. But you think, really? Really? Keep wheeling them out. Here we go. And I know I have to wheel around a bit, but yeah, that's different. I've got things to do.
But I do think it's been clever. As they've got older, they've gone down more of the horror route, because that would then relate to the sort of 80s horror films where obviously it was always teenagers that got killed. So I think that's why they went more down the Vecna route, more down a sort of more horror route.
They just followed their storytelling kind of natural, where is this going? Because the characters are great.
Yeah.
You just want
really good.
What about you? But part of how they got away with cutting to all these different elements, the different strands of the story, was you wanted to know what all of them were getting up to. Like, I want to know what. And now you're thinking about Russia again. And then when you're in Russia, you're thinking, well, what's happening to... What's her face? Has she got a job back in the ice cream parlour or what? Robin?
yeah, you got the name right. Fucking hell.
You know.
Alzheimer's ain't that bad.
No, well, there's certain things it does.
Yeah, selective.
Yeah.
So, 80s.
Yeah, go on. What have you chosen?
It's a trend. It's a trend. It's a challenge. Challenge.
So, 80s. Stranger Things, love it. There's a lot of other bits and pieces that kind of are referring back to those glory days.
So, if you was to pick a film, a franchise, or whatever from the 80s that hasn't already been redone.
Well, it can't be a franchise, because I don't think there were many.
There were many, but a film, TV show, or whatever it is from the 80s that hasn't already been redone, because that seems to be the place where everyone's mining from at the moment. It's the craze. What would you do? If I was, I don't know, Universal, and I've sat you down, I've gone, Hog, reboot something from the 80s. We need to jump on this bandwagon. You got full reign. What would you do? What would you choose?
Howard the Duck. Big time.
Oh, you'd have to go through MCU Disney for that, though, man.
It's Howard. It's Howard. It'd have to be on. What are they doing there? What did they reckon they were doing? Their adult content through. What was it?
Stars.
Another channel. Was it Stars?
Yeah, Stars. It's on Disney minus.
Howard on Stars.
Howard on Stars. Okay.
The comic was the film that was re-released today. The fact that he's sleeping with this, and listen, Mr. Lizard, you must really appreciate this. This is an alien being in the shape of what we would call a duck, but he's not a human. He's not an Earth duck. He's not an Earth being. He is an alien, but just so happens that he's got a bill that looks a little bit like, but it's wider, and he's not a duck. He's Howard. But if that was re-released now, and this is the bit I like, he was sleeping with a human bird. See what I did there?
Yeah, very nice, very nice. So, what would you do with the story of him? Would you do anything? Would you have lots of cameos? You've got to have cameos, and it's got to set up multiverse and all that sort of stuff.
It wouldn't be in any multiverse. It'd be him landing on Earth and forgetting everything. And this is where I know Dismal Minus would be with me. I'd sit around the table and go, we're going to ignore all of that. And they'd go, oh, yeah, well, that's what we normally do. Why did you waste your time saying it? He turned up in the case, didn't he? In a credit, post-credit little stupid.
He appeared in Endgame.
Yeah, well, I'll even forget that.
And he appeared in the What Ifs as well. So they're building him.
Animal.
Yeah.
The comics. I wish I had him in one of these boxes now. But the writer and artist on that series, originally in the 70s for Marvel, it was a politically driven. It was a satire on the state of humankind. That's why I loved it. And that's quality. Boot it and love it, and it wouldn't be what anyone is expecting. And
you could set up the Animal Avengers with that.
You could attack with that.
You could set up the Animal Avengers with that, man.
And he would be the Tony Stark.
He would be. It'd be top bill.
And let's just go through. Let's just look at. Yeah. Let's just take a look at the Animal Avengers that we've got up to now. Let's just take a look at them, yeah?
Start off with, we have got Howard the Duck, obviously, he'll be the Tony Stark one. Then we've got my personal favourite, Lucky the Pizza Dog.
You loved him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one eye, bless him, and he's still out there fighting crime, eating pizza. You've got
to admire Dismal Minus for even applying their equality standards to animals. Like, here's a disabled dog, one eye. He was a guide dog back in the day, and someone just mugged the person he was guiding and kicked him in the head. He lost his eye.
See, I don't know about you. The most intriguing thing about that series for me was how he lost his eye. That intrigued me more than anything else.
This is where we can rely on Dismal Minus. We want Lucky the Pizza Dog's origin story, and it is that. He was. Listen, Space Lizard. He was Matt Murdock's guide dog at school.
Yeah, that would work. You could easily tie that in.
And the early, someone needs to be writing this down, or we can rewind the video later, because he was Matt Murdock's guide dog, and the early iteration of the tracksuit mafia, when they bought their first tracksuits and their first pairs of trainers, and they was getting into their gangster shtick.
Yeah.
They beat Matt up. They beat up lucky, and it ties in. He gets his revenge in Hawkeye.
Yeah, definitely.
Or did he disappear halfway through the series? I can't remember.
He was too busy eating pizza, man.
He would get slapped for that, mate.
That dog loved pizza.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't do much apart from just appear.
Oh, I thought he delivered them.
Well, this is the thing. He was just eating pizza. Every time we saw him, he just ate a bit of pizza and he just sort of buggered off. Just stroll in, have a little bit of a stroke, and then bugger off again.
This is where you so up. This is where your alien credentials come through, because you're not a true Marvel fan. You would know all this, mate. You'd know.
Yeah, he never delivered pizza. My next ones is Alligator Loki and Frog 4. They've got to be in there to. I mean, Alligator Loki, mischievous, but we have him as part of the group. Have him as a bad boy of the group, almost like if it was the Ninja Turtles, it'd be the Raphael, like the bad boy of the group. Then we've got the fuzzy thing from Shang-Chi. I think his name is Morris. The fuzzy thing from Shang-Chi. His name's Morris. I'm pretty sure it is. But he's this big fuzzy fur ball.
That'd be the best thing about the film if his name was Morris.
And he's got these little wings.
And he just sort of... Or Maurice, like Madagascar. Maurice.
I'm pretty his name was Morris, mate. Then we've got Goose the Cat from Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, the
Fur King.
How good is
yeah.
Right, listen, just bear with me 1 minute, please.
Well, maybe the cat, Goose, is one that done Lucky's eye as well.
It could tie it so much. I mean, we should be around this creative table at Dismal.
Yeah, 100%, man.
We could show them some crap storylines. We could tie this in, mate. We could make this the new canon.
Yeah, man, 100%. And obviously we need Anthony, the big ant from Ant-Man. He's main ant. I think Anthony died, but we can bring him back from the other reality or another multiverse somewhere. And then we got Rocket Raccoon. We can throw him in the mix as well.
Rabbit. I think he could just be a cameo. He could be the nostalgia bait that gets people to like this new series.
Yeah, and I think it would work well as a 6 episodes.
Rocket. Call it Guardians of the Galaxy, Rocket Raccoon, and he's only in it a couple of episodes. Everything else is all the other shit. And I'm not allowing Howard in it. Howard's got to be on his own, no multiverse, hardcore.
No, I think I think we can riff off your series.
Red Band.
So I think you do almost think of it as how the Duck is like Iron Man 1. And then we slowly introduce the others, and then we do our Animal Avengers where they all come together.
Because don't forget, Howard the Duck, I'm going back to the comic character. He drinks, he smokes, and he loves the ladies.
Fair play.
It's got to be Red Band. It's got to be odd R18. Deadpool's got nothing on Howard, I tell you. We get to play
100%
and use that CGI. Get Gollum. What's his name? Playing
Circus.
Yeah,
you can play him.
Precious. It'd be wah. That was too penguin, really.
But
yeah,
I think it could work. I mean, technically, it already exists because we've been introduced to them all. It's just in what multiverse do we go into where everyone's animals?
All of them.
It's just a what if? What if it was an Animal Avengers?
No,
doing
what if? Because that's stupid, right? Serious, mate. We get America Chavez to jump out of another multiverse and collect them all.
Yeah,
because they need. But who would be the enemy? Howard would be the enemy. Dark Howard.
Oh, so we have Howard twice. We have the good Howard and the dark Howard.
The series, all that is the prequel. And the end of the series is when his enemy, which was, what was his name? He had a church bell for a head. Gong, King Bong or something he was called. And this was before double entendres in society. So he was a bell end, right? He was a fucking enemy. So bell end, right, mashed him up at the end of the last episode, and he goes dark. He chops his legs off. He leaves him in a pond. He can't swim.
Yeah.
Howard. He's squawking away, quacking away, and he thinks he's sunk. He gets saved.
No, no,
That
not old Howard.
is the animal Avengers Thanos.
Oh yes.
By a space lizard.
Well, I could do a cameo, I suppose. I mean, if they ask, I'll jump in. I won't say no to it. Bit of money.
It's good though. They pay the actors a lot of dough, not so CGI and extras and production design and script and everything. To be fair, everything else. But I think the actors get a nice wedge, because if they don't, I think I would pull them by the scruff of the neck if I ever met them and say, "Why? Why did you do it? You didn't get paid dough."
Very true. The thing is, though,
reboot then.
What's that, mate?
What is your 80s reboot? Is this Space Lizard? That's not an 80s reboot.
It's another animal, to be fair.
Well, really, you could probably reboot Alf, couldn't you?
Alf, yeah, he could do that. Mine's my 80s reboot's another animal.
Who? Lassie?
No.
Dumbo.
No.
What animals were around in the 80s? Kermit?
No.
Go on, tell me. Daffy?
No. I would reboot The Fly.
Yeah, it's a right serious choice, that, isn't it?
Proper serious choice, but I think in today's
the hogCAST goes.
We're going serious. We're going serious for a second. I think with today's, well, I say today's, 10 years ago, CGI, not today's CGI, but 10 years ago, the CGI, I think that would work really well now. With all the advancements in prosthetics and all that as well, I think we could really, really smash out a good Fly film. Keep the heart of it, delve more into Jeff Goldblum's character, or whoever plays him. Probably could get Jeff Goldblum back. He's always up for anything these days. There's no other reason why he'd appear in Jurassic Park. Do you know what I mean? But I think, yeah, I do generally think, yeah, just get them all, just get The Fly redone, mate. I think it is a film of its time. It'll take a lot of doing. You can't beat old Cronenberg that easy. But I think, yeah, I think it is a film that would do well. There's some stuff from the 80s that I would say never touch. Like Back to the Future, never fucking touch it. Leave it alone. It's of its time. It's a quality film. But The Fly,
it's only because the guys who own Back to the Future have said never, ever.
Yeah, and I love that. I absolutely love that, because it's a film of its time. If you want to watch Back to the Future, watch the 80s version of Back to the Future. Like, there's
about The Fly, Joe, is you're doing a bit of a George Lucas. Saying,
I wouldn't go too heavy.
I'm gonna take this film and give it better special effects.
No, I'm going to delve into the characters more and make it more emotional, more of a, almost imagine Joker fire. But imagine doing like a more of a character study. Even delve into more of the character study, like they did with Joker, but apply that to The Fly. So it's proper dark, proper gruesome, proper gory. I think with certain films you can't touch. They're the 80s for a reason. Leave it there. Don't touch it. Don't reboot it. But if you can bring something to it, if you can add something to it, then yeah, give it a go. And I think The Fly would be my choice, to be honest.
When you say that, like the stuff that can't be touched, do you mean like Starsky and Hutch, Chips, Charlie's Angels? Oh, the list goes on and on, doesn't it, mate? Come on. Do you mean
big time
stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when was the original June?
That I'm always reminded of when people talk about reboots is Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, and when was the original June released? Was that 80s? The original June film?
David Lynch one, yeah.
So again, the more recent one, okay, they brought something to it, because we both like that.
that David Lynch had to squeeze that entire first novel into one, if not a bit of the volume 2 as well. And wow, he bit off more than he could chew. And as an auteur, it went over budget, it went over schedule, it went everything. But again, though, brave of everyone behind Villeneuve doing this new, and he's not rebooting it. He's not rebooting David Lynch's film. He is doing a film adaptation of the books. It's nothing to do with David Lynch in a way. So it's not. He's not rebooting a film, is he? Because
no.
It's a bit like Rings of Power not rebooting Jackson's 3 films. They are not. They're literally. That's one thing you can't slate them for, because they've bought a pamphlet. Apparently, I don't know what they bought. Pages of something. I mean, the Tolkien estate have done a right stitch-up job on Bezos, like, because from the sounds of it, they haven't got a lot to work with. They can't do this, can't do that. Got to call the hobbits a different name and change the colour. Got to give George beards.
We won't go there.
Yeah. No, we'll go there another day when it's released. The second. I'm going to keep.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. We could be eating our words, but everything we've heard is it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for it. But yeah, my choice is The Fly. I think that's a solid choice. Don't know if you agree with that.
It's an interesting one, and the special effects can certainly bring, if it brought a gorier dimension to it, like the scenes where his teeth are falling out and you've got all the ooze. He's picking off bits of his skin, and in the original, well, not the original, because that was a remake of I think, was it not Vincent Price was in the doesn't matter, but in the black and white fifth, I think it might have been 50s, I don't know if it was Roger Corman, Cronenberg updated that. Wow. It can be updated with a modern eye on them.
Definitely. I mean,
then certain ideas and alien ducks can be looked at now. And it was a George Lucas film. I think it was after. I don't think it was after the trilogy. I think he was it might have been. I'm really tempted to look in a box for information, but if it would have been around, it would either been before, pre, or post Ewok.
Oh, are we going with the Ewoks, are we? Let's reboot the Ewoks.
We're not going there.
Let's reboot the Ewoks. What have you got against Ewoks, mate?
We can't go there.
What have you got against Ewoks?
It would be the decimation of the Ewoks. the Inquisitors, all 4 of them. Our new one. Now then. These here Ewoks, they're marked for execution, but Inquisitorium.
I don't see what you got against them, man. I think that's the next thing they're going to go. They're going to go Ewok series.
I'd love to see one, right? And they use the CGI while they're making Planet of the Apes and using. Oh, that's the other thing, isn't it? Let's fuck the Ewoks off because they're ridiculous. So Disney, Dismal Minus, obviously got the rights to Planet of the Apes. Now, how glorious was that CGI in those 3 films?
Oh, nice, very nice.
Trilogy. And uneven, but then again, in any trilogy, you can have your one favourite, or like the middle one most, or the last one sucks. But that's quite. I think it's a trilogy, essentially, great. But imagine when Dismal start doing it in the CGI.
They're actually doing anything with it, or have they just bought it? Have they said they're
playing around with it? But they'll go back to the 60s stuff, wouldn't they? Where they've got the monkey masks on. And they go, ooh, 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 ooh. And the noses don't move, or they move like that when what's his name, the main ape in it, goes like that, and he would, and all you see is his rubber nose going, and the hair never moved, did it? That's what Disney will do. They won't go to the CGI. They won't get hold of Circus or anyone. Nah. We don't need any of that.
Maybe animated.
We've got the rights to it. We've got boxes of all the original masks here. Did you put them on? Go. There you are. We chop. Monkey magic. Monkey magic.
Would they actually? I don't know. I don't know what they can bring to it though. That's the problem. Like we've had the trilogy recently. I know it's a couple of years now, but we've still had the trilogy recently.
Yeah.
We don't need any more yet. It's going to be a long time before anyone goes. No one's going. Do you know what I want?
Listen, it's like buying a brothel, right? And they're all in there. You've just signed a contract outside, and you're looking up there, and it's getting nighttime, and all the lights are coming on, and you're thinking, well, I've bought it, so I've got to use them. So you've got all these rights to films, and they look at Planet of the Apes, they go, well, we've got to do that now.
It's a weird move to just buy it. Has it come with anything else?
Or Planet of the Apes?
Planet of the Apes, man. Like have they brought it with?
Was it MGM? It was. I think when they bought all the MGM rights,
they didn't buy MGM.
It said well,
Disney didn't buy MGM. Amazon did.
Whatever other film stable they bought of yesteryear, maybe Fox. It was 20th Century Fox, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that would have been under their banner. Yeah,
it was the old. So, listen, their attention is going to just get drawn. They're drifting. They're just drifting all over the shop, and they've got. Let's forget the brothel, a sweet shop, and they don't know what. And everyone likes, as in the past, everyone has liked every fucking flavour of these bonbons, right? And they don't know what one. Instead of giving them more bonbons.
Are we still talking about the brothel or the sweet shop now?
No, I did say, don't be rude, Space Lizard. I know what you lot get up to when you get extra scaly. You're looking at these bonbons, you've just bought the shop, and you're thinking, where are all the people that used to like that flavour? Oh, right. Lob that and give them a different flavour. Yeah, that's what we think you're going to like, pricks.
Yes. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean,
mindset. I mean, the latest Chapek is going to clear house now. He's got a 3-year extended contract. So
it's a clear house, but then but again, still with Planet of the Apes. Why do we need a reboot of Planet of the Apes? Like we've just had it. Because they've brought it in. It's there. It's sitting there.
They've done well, and they want to just use the name. They're not going to copy the creativity of those films. They're not going to look at. No one's going to look at the films.
And the subversion will be.
They look at the title.
Subversion will be.
Well, they did well. Let's do a shit version of that.
But the subversion will be. It won't be about apes. It's going to be about lizards. But it'll still be called Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I'm keeping quiet, man. So I've just got to lead him role in it. So.
The contract's already been emailed to your Space Lizard mobile.
Yeah, big time, man. I had a little read through it. He said I couldn't read the script though until the first day of filming, and I can only have one scene at a time. So I'm a bit worried.
Rumor, which I reckon that rumor that, unless anyone has never heard this one before, is that actors that work for these mostly decent actors previously sign up for the drivel. Is that the agent says, do you want to work for them? And they go, oh, it's not a load of bollocks in it. And they go, but they're going to give you a load of fucking dough. And they look around at all their other options, which is fuck all at the moment. And they go, oh, go on then and put the phone down. Now, if that rumour is true, it would explain a lot.
Oh yeah, big
That
time.
rumour has been started by one of these decent actors, the first decent actor that dropped their guard, which was probably old Cheeky Chops, old Wanda, because she's a decent actress.
Yeah, big time.
Is Vision not as good as, but they're just good actors, and so is Loki, and so is Falcon and Winter. You know, they're not all on a par, but they're. And then
They're all decent actors.
you look at them in this stuff, and you think, my God. And
yeah,
read that, but one of them started the rumor just to save their skin. I think just so they get another job when they
must have done, man.
When they go skin, they need work, don't they? So they've started the whole rumor like they don't get to see the script. Oh my God, look.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I've just thought another 80s reboot.
yeah.
I don't know how it could be done or if it could be done. Naked Gun. We've had many a night watching Naked Gun in wrong fucking order as well.
It can't be touched.
I don't know how, because there was a rumor they're going to do it, and apparently Liam Neeson was going to do it. I don't see how that works.
Thing, I don't know what space station broadcast on whatever network you was receiving up there that news. I cannot get my head around that. It is either yes or most likely bollocks.
Because they just don't, like, out of the spoof movies.
What he'll do is play it straight.
Yeah, he will play it straight. But out of the spoof movies, Naked Gun and Airplane, mainly anything with Leslie Nielsen in, but Naked Gun, Airplane, they're like the gold standard of that genre. Then we had all like the scary movies and not another spoof movie and disaster movie, epic movie, all that stuff that's just, you watch it once, it's done. But something like Naked Gun, you can go back to it and you laugh every single time. Even though you know what's going to happen, you can watch it in any bloody order you want.
You can't do it anymore.
You can't do it anymore. And I haven't seen a comedy that's made me laugh that much.
But these corporations with all of this power and influence are afraid of 8 people on Twitbox that are going, oh, look at him. Oh, they're taking a piss out of a POC with an afro. You know what it's going to... No, it can't be.
Like a midget at urinal, I'm going to have to be on my toes.
Yeah. Oh, class. And I watched, I don't know if you've ever seen it, this interview, Joe Rogan talking to Robert Downey Jr. about Tropic Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
The question was, could this be filmed today? And basically the answer was no. And even then, his wife and his mum had their reservations, particularly the wife, and she went, you've got to do it. Because this is how it is. The hypocrisy of never go full retard. What do you mean, you people? All of that shit. What his wife was saying was, that is exactly how it is. So she was going, you've got to do it, but ooh, buyer beware. And it wasn't, I don't think, that film was the greatest hit.
No.
I don't think it was blockbuster. But over the years, people have realised, you go to it, and it wasn't as in your face as the Naked Guns and the police academies and all that.
Yeah.
But because I think it was too satirical, it was too biting. It was too, and it does make you wonder if it was kind of submerged a bit.
But where's comedy gone though, man? Like I say, like Naked Gun's the epitome. They were like 88, 90 and like 92, them 3 movies came out. Since then, we have not had a comedy like that, really. You could argue there's been other spoof movies.
Like, who is there now? So you think
in
the 90s, let's say Ferrell was in the early noughties. Like, who has taken up the mantle? And I'm sure there are cinema comedians out there, must be, but I can't think of one of that caliber.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I mean, Leslie Nielsen, he's been quite a few years now. Like I don't, because he was, what made him so good was actually his background. He was a Shakespearean actor. He was a Shakespearean actor, so he's a good, decent actor. But he just found that little niche there. He did,
And it's time.
and he just went. Yeah, man ahead of his time. Just went for it, and just again that playing it straight. I mean,
Playing
fuck.
it straight. And people think that, I think a lot of people, and not that it matters what they think, as long as these guys and girls deliver. But
Yeah,
everyone thinks that kind of some kind of haphazard comedy, they just fuck about and they film it. Stuff like that, the best stuff has to be measured, rehearsed,
yeah.
and rehearsed again.
I would love to see the outtakes from that film.
Yeah, a bit like when you watch the Will Ferrell, the Anchorman stuff. Some of the outtakes is almost better than the film. And
yeah, 100%.
Like you,
Although
where it's all gone, but no one's brave enough. I mean, what did Ferrell and Wahlberg do recently? Did they not do another one? Was it Daddy's Home 8 or something, or was it something else?
They did the other guys back in the day, didn't they? And then the Daddy's Home. I haven't seen the latest one. I've only seen the first Daddy's Home.
They was just decent comedies, but yeah,
Maybe. I mean, to be fair, comedy-wise, the only thing I've watched recently, apart from Kenobi, the only thing I've watched recently after your recommendation was that Man vs. Bee, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah,
thoroughly enjoyed that.
Coming back, but that is a different kind of genius. It's almost like an artist's artist in a way. I think he's and people. Well, I don't know what people want to laugh at anymore because I found it thoroughly entertaining on the stupidity level.
Yeah.
Of off the scale slapstick, and no one's doing it. But then again, no one's doing any kind of comedy. I know a lot of people are doing stand-up, and in a way, that's eating itself alive. I think because I think everyone knows everyone who's established get a bit controversial, and you're sailing. It doesn't it doesn't make for the most imaginative comedy. And I've watched all the controversial bits and bobs, and from your Gervais and your Chappelle's and all of that, and they're all right. One watched it, yeah, fine, they're entertaining it, round and off. But it's not Robin Williams all over again.
Or Mickey Flanagan. Mickey Flanagan's good.
I'm a geekyOlhog, and I know Robin Williams was another level as well.
Oh yeah, big time. And Mickey Flanagan, I like quite a bit. You know, he just keeps it. He just keeps it on a level. He's proper good stand-up comedian. He is, but he's a lazy bastard. He hasn't done nothing in years.
Don't have to, does he?
Nah. He's earned his dough. But what I like is you can, of any age with Mickey Flanagan. Again, it's the aiming everything at all audiences. Any age you can watch Mickey Flanagan, really, like, you know, as long as you're above 18.
No, I'm offended by his stand-up.
Who?
Mickey Flanagan.
Why?
He takes the piss out of English, middle-aged, married, heterosexual men, and I'm offended. In that kind of manner, and my wife was disgusted. She said, "Do these men exist? Do such husbands exist?" And I said, "Well, no, darling, no. We don't want to go down the pub. Out, no, darling, no." We always knew that bread went with oil, didn't we? Always a treat. We had it for breakfast. So
she'd turn around and say, "Stop talking a load of shit. I know it's exactly what you're like."
And since he's been popular, I've never been so. Since he's been popular, I've never been so popular on Twatbook because I'm constantly tweeting my effrontery of how he treats us heterosexual, white, married, middle-aged men. And we formed a group We formed a group. We're going to find an acronym.
Did you get a petition going?
Offended white heterosexual. There's an acronym there.
Did you hand out some leaflets?
We will do. When we get that revolution going, we make the same mistake Paul did. Get going.
That's coming out soon, isn't it?
Well, listen. Should we take a look at Korg?
Let's do it.
Let's take a look at Korg. Let's take a look at Korg, and then let's talk about a bit of Lavender.
He ain't gonna save it, man.
He's not.
It's funny fucker, but he ain't gonna save it. Like I love Korg,
but
I've got a feeling, like in the trailer when he does, there was once a god, he had a dad bod, then a god bod, and all that sort of stuff. That was quite amusing in the trailer, but it's not enough to save it. It's not enough. It's not enough to save it. It's not enough to. I don't know. Again, we've got to wait and see until we watch it. But from what I'm seeing, mate, I'm not overly. They released that clip. Have you seen the little clip that they've released?
Yeah.
And just the dialogue in that clip, man. If that's what you're showing off, then what's the rest of it like?
A lot of it. So in the modern world, a lot of the preamble leading up to films is about the interviews and the, you're on Facegram and Twattinsta and whatever you're tweeting and twatting and twatting and goggling. It's all about that. And when you've got a film where the king of Asgard is saying, "Oh yes, me and Hakika had many conversations about the sexuality of Valkyrie," and you think, "Oh fuck, here we go."
Yeah, but it's not even about that, man. It's about getting the fucking dialogue and the story.
Too much. He's been left with this one. He's a great director, I think, within himself, but
it's going to be Ragnarok times 10, isn't it?
And great directors that were just given a carte blanche, as they say.
But it's going to be Ragnarok. It's going to be Ragnarok times 10, isn't it? It's just going to go. Because Ragnarok had the right balance. It had the right balance of the comedy. It was refreshing. It was a nice little palate cleanser. And there was stakes to it as well, which was quite nice. With this one, that clip where it's him, Valkyrie, Korg's there, and then Natalie Portman's there as well. And what they're talking about, it sounds like about colour or something like that.
Hammer comes along, the other silly.
Oh, mate. And it just seems like, again, the dialogue's just off. I don't know. It's just weird. It just wasn't funny.
That's what I want to do. Let's take the piss out of this next one. Let's take the piss out of this next one. Let's take the piss out of that. And it's normally a him. Let's take the piss out of him. Let's take the piss out of him. Let's take the piss out of him. And what they're forgetting is that when you replace that hero, which they've done more or less all the way through now in Marvel,
just make more heroes.
No. Too much.
Don't replace them.
No.
Don't replace them. Don't pass over the mantle.
They've used all the heroes that took decades to build up, to work out what characters work best for Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, on and on, right? Decades.
Yeah.
And it took them a decade to tell that story from Iron Man to Endgame. Glorious. The glory days. But creating new characters now, they've got the perfect opportunity within the TV series to bring new characters through.
Yep.
Like not
replace old ones.
They haven't got decades of comics to bring in, and they're too impatient to use 10 years to create a new Avengers, or I don't know when the first Avengers film was, say 6 years, 5 years. They just haven't got the patience for it to bring new characters in, because there's no one there with anywhere near a solid enough character, because they're scared of making.
I generally think the whole taking up the mantle thing, so they've used it in the comics for years as well. Someone taking up the mantle Nah, it's boring.
Oh, it's pigs.
I want someone. I want a new character. I don't want to see like Falcon is a good character. I like Falcon, but I don't want to see him as Cap.
I followed Captain America. I think I've got a box here labelled Silver Age, Captain America, and then modern era.
I wouldn't even want to see Bucky, who's one of my favourite Marvel characters. I don't want to see him as Captain America. I want to see him as Bucky. I want to see him as the Winter Soldier. I don't want to see him as another character. I don't get this taking up the mantle stuff. I really don't.
It takes hard work and creativity and imagination. All the things that it's time. It's time consuming and fucking hard work. That's the two things. I think it's the hard work first and the time. Well, no, it's not first. I think they're both in conjunction, and no one's willing to do it. Not from the top. Well, from the top, from Feige down. And he was kind of half right. Do you remember when Feige said, well, we don't have to use the top of the shop? Now, in and of its like as new characters, I don't know what he was talking about. I think it was pre-pandemic at a Comic-Con in San Diego or somewhere. And he said, yeah, well, we can turn any Marvel character into a decent film. Now, Blade is the perfect example of that. And I know people forget that Men in Black was a Marvel comic back in the day. That film is a perfect example of that.
Oh, Blade was quality, man. And I don't. Why reboot? I get they've got to bring it. They want to bring it into the MCU, and it's another reboot. But the first Blade 3, okay, forget that one. But Blade 1 and even Blade 2, that was, I mean, that's way ahead of its time. And it was 90s, mid 90s that came out. And wow, what a marvelous film!
He was black.
No, it was a great film, man. It was a great film.
It was just
absolutely amazing film.
He was just that, wasn't he?
Yeah, and no one. But what I've got the issue is when you're replacing characters that are already established. Create new characters, great. But characters that are already established, don't replace them. Why do we need to replace them? That character is that character, and that superhero moniker is part of that character. Captain America is Captain America because of Steve Rogers.
And if it doesn't go through that, if the character doesn't go through that makes him that, it's his purity that you use as the thread for the stories. If he's not that pure, because in Winter Soldier, if he doesn't confront Robert Redford when he's showing him all the massive airships, and he's kind of, you can tell he's going, nah, this ain't what I signed up for. This isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't the flag waving from the Second World War and all that. It's just inherent in the character that he is that. In Civil War, him and Stark, it works because Steve Rogers is, anyway, it's too intelligent and layered for them anymore. It's layered stuff because, Steve Rogers signs up for the war effort in the Second World War, but now he's realising that, no, this isn't what I signed up for. And then in Civil War, you've got Tony Stark saying, no, we've got to do it. And he's going, no, because signing up to the wrong agenda. Oh, it's a beautiful thing, really. And within the superheroes, all this silly stuff, silly fucking comics.
But we will like it because Disney tell us we will like it.
Made it great. On and on and on and on and on. Now, no one, got to stop there. There are people out there with loads of good new ideas. I bet there is. I would bet my left nut that there are, if not thousands, if not hundreds, dozens of people out there with decent new ideas, stories, superheroes that they could use. But I will say again, hard work and time, which they can't be bothered with. What's the latest craze? Oh yeah. We know what they are. So let's do that. In a couple of years, I don't know what the new craze is going to be. Whoever's
they've already got it planned out, man. I mean, and Andor, so with Disney, they're already promoting season 2. Season 1 hasn't even come out.
Season 2 of Andor.
Yeah, so Andor season 2, some news hot off the press.
Look too bad.
So season 1 hasn't been released.
Wait to say, I know.
We have got a season 1 trailer, but they've already confirmed a season 2, and they've also, recent news, and I say recent, it's literally a couple of hours ago, they've started talking about season 2, the plot structure of season 2. Every episode in season 2, every 3 episodes, it's going to jump 3 years.
Who's announced all this?
Came from the producers and that. This came out literally a couple of hours ago. So season 2, they're not even talking about season 1. They're not even talking about what's going on in season 1 or what we look forward to. They've spoken about season 2, and that is going to have time jumps. What a ridiculous marketing strategy. Okay, so we've got to wait for season 1 to come out, digest season 1 and see what happens there.
Yeah.
But instead of talking about season 1 and what's coming out right now, you're talking about season 2, which will probably be a year, 2 years' time, and the fact there's going to be time jumps. What
they're telling us they're fast tracking it. So they're doing it now. They're doing series 2 now. Series 1 they just spewed out. We're going to get that in a minute. Series 2. Oh, I can't wait. A 3-year jump between episodes. That's awesome. So
it's like, what's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point?
It's going to be hilarious. The first episode's just going to end somewhere with someone talking and walking. Don't forget, they always maintain momentum in every scene they do.
They're going to have a walkabout.
They always have a little walkabout, little talk, little chat. Have a little chat. Let's go walk over here. Oh, now let's walk over here into the next scene. And then they might be sitting down. That's what I like. When they give us that, oh, they're sitting down now in this scene. Oh, yes. I need to do a reaction video, really. Oh, they're sitting down now. Yeah. Then they're going to jump 3 years, and one of them is a bit older.
And they're still fucking sitting down.
Wiser. But one of them stood up. They're still sitting. One of them stood up, and the other one's going, where are you going?
We haven't finished it. We've still got another episode to fill.
It's 3 years. Look, we've been here for 3 years. My legs are aching. But I'm waiting for my bionic ones because I died in the film in between these 2 episodes in that 3 years.
I just hope that we see. I just hope that we see the origins of the Vesper gang in Andor. To be honest, I know it's a totally different time and all that, but a gang like that with those credentials
can't keep giving all our best ideas away, mate. We keep doing this.
We keep telling everyone. Maybe someone might fucking hire us.
They literally just cut to something, and now for something completely different. Which was that Monty Python, or was that back in the day, or was that Spike Milligan and all that lot? The Goons. Anyway, I digress. We won't go there. I'm geekyOlhog, but I'll save that for my 100th video. Andor series 2 already. But are you thinking Andor series 1 is going to be epic?
No.
Because I'm going to say that the trailer weren't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, if
it's self. No,
but again, it's another thing that we haven't asked for. It's another thing that we haven't asked for. And the thing is, as well, the problem with Andor, my problem with Andor, is the fact that, okay, we get to see his background, we get to see him as a character, we get to build him as a character, but the stakes are automatically lowered because we know that he survives whatever happens in the show. He's going to end up in Rogue One. He's going to go through the story of Rogue One. And he's going to get blown up. So we know straight away, no matter what sort of jeopardy he's put into, he's going to be safe. And that's why the show for me is a bit of a worry because it won't necessarily work. It was similar to Obi-Wan, to be fair, because you know that Vader, Obi-Wan, it's like their fight at the end of Kenobi. You know that the stakes, the stakes aren't life or death because you know both of them will have to survive to get to New Hope. That's why setting things.
And when I saw it, it was like, oh, I don't think I wanted to see. I didn't want to see Vader, Kin, and Benobi do this because the epic, them two meeting epically, fighting was firstly in A New Hope, and then for the next generation along, and it was epic again. It was in Revenge of the Sith, was it? Third film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
first film, blah blah. For two different generations, it was equally as epic. I can't say that, oh my God, us old boys got it right first time, because that was great. Built up for 3 films.
Yeah.
Ways took 1 film to build up. This one, because you knew what was happening and how it. Yeah, awesome. Andor is like, yeah, but and like you say, a series 2, if you know he's going to die, there's no. I don't know what there is in it.
There's just no stakes to it, because no matter what situation you put him in, no matter what, he's safe.
He's going to live.
He's going to live no matter what.
But what we're missing, what you're missing is it's called Andor.
But it's not about him, is it?
See.
Yeah. Who's it going to be about?
Kenobi. And it was about Leia and Reva. But they called it Kenobi. So Andor is going to be, and there's a lot of women in it. Good old Kathleen Kennedy. There's a tubload. A tubload.
But again, that doesn't matter if they're interesting characters. That's the issue. It's the interesting characters. But it's true though, isn't it? If they're
you're talking sense, but
yeah, but they're interested. But as long as it's an interesting character that's got a good arc and it's written well and it's a good character, that's all that matters. But we know they're not going to be, because the writing standard isn't there.
No, and this is where you're wrong again, mate. You're just not a proper fan, because they nailed it with Reva in Kenobi. New female character, awesome, bestest ever. So they're just going to do it more, and then God, it's just going to be great. Hello, hey, I'm great. Why? Can't you see these? You can't look at them, otherwise you're a misogynist. But anyway, I've got tits, so I'm a great character you must love. Unless it's Slave Leia, who won?
On that bombshell, man.
hogCAST will crash into. You will come out of orbit and slowly descend faster and faster and crash into the earth, burning up and breaking up as you go. And I will resurrect you for the next one.
Yeah, man. I'm up for that. Man.
So, Nanu.
Been a pleasure as always.
Just but.
Night, darling.
We will meet again. What did he used to do? That one, didn't he? You understand that? Did you go to Vulcan?
Yeah, but I've only got 3 fingers, man. I can't do that.
3 fingers and a thumb.
3 fingers and a thumb.
Night.
Night, darling. Have a good one.
I'm going to press a button to cut you off, so you should fall out of orbit now.
All right, cool. I'll brace myself.
Brace.